We're on to Newsweek. All right. Daycare is too expensive. All right. Let me share the screen. I know I struggle to do this. And also, too, for the first time listeners, I do not read these articles ahead of time. And we'll see what the name of the author is for this person. But normally, the author's name destroys me and my ability to pronounce it. Okay, here we go. I was like, where the author's at? All right, here we go. Newsweek. Childcare now costs more than college as parents or over $36,000 a year. $36,000 a year. This is published January 19th, 2024. I told you I'm gonna get caught up on the articles. I don't know if I'm caught up or not, but I'm doing more recent ones now. Again, this is on January 19th, 2024. 36K a year for childcare. I'm gonna see how this is. Hopefully, it's broken down to one child versus two children in daycare. I already did a student loan episode going into 2022, going into 2023 about how much college costs, at least going to your local state. College is definitely not $36,000 a year for a public university. Oh my goodness! All right, here we go. It's official. Childcare costs are now more than you pay for college. By the way, shout out to the 529 before we get all the way into it. You can use a 529, I believe, for daycare costs. I'm not 100% sure. I know you can use it for private school, but you can leverage a 529 for your early child, I guess, childhood education. So daycare is not childhood education, maybe. But you can use your 529 for those of you who want your children to go to private school. It might make more sense just to pay for it in cash because you don't have that time for, the money to grow in the market. But just another little tidbit since we're talking about kids stuff here. It's official. Childcare costs are now more than you pay for college. Parents have long been feeling the strain of childcare as inflation remains stubbornly high. I thought inflation was slowing down. Around 47% of parents spend up to $18,000 a year on their children. Okay, it's probably 36K because the average person has two kids, right? On childcare expenses, according to a new cost of care report from care.com, while 20% of parents indicated they spend more than 36%. So 67%, almost 70% of people are spending at least $18,000 a year in childcare. The website is an online marketplace for families to find childcare among other forms of care. So many ads on this one. Compare this to the yearly tuition and room and board at a public university. I told public university and parents might be shocked for the 2023 to 24 school year, the average cost of attendance for a public 4-year in state, right? So essentially the cheapest way you can go. That's not community college, but at a 4-year, including tuition, all tuition, that's all tuition fees and room and board was $24,000, according to U.S. Department of Education. 12. Well, okay. It's not more than the 18K, but look, it's 6K difference between 18 to 24, but it's damn near close. But it's definitely less than obviously the 36K it's talking about here. Within the first 5 years of child's life, parents are being forced into a financial hole that is nearly impossible to climb out of. See, here we go. We get into that language. Oh wait, I messed up. This is by Suzanne Blank, reporter, consumer, and social trends. My bad. Shout out to Suzanne Blank. See, I wouldn't say that parents are being forced into a financial hole because you're not forced to have children. So any of the, let's just call them repercussions from a financial standpoint that come along with children, you can't say they were forced upon you because you weren't forced to have children. So you willfully entered the situation. All right. This is the verbiage that we like to talk about here on the Quarter and Full of Fat podcast, where when you see these things or hear these things or read these things, I guess you got to see things to read them. Unless you're blind. Shout out to the blind people out there. But these are the things where it's like, yeah, man, I was forced to pay for all this. No, you were not forced to pay for this high ass daycare. Your ass out here having sex. And shout out to the people who keep having sex. They want to do it with protection. They get mad when they get pregnant. If you don't want to get pregnant, then don't have sex. That's 100% way. I guarantee you, if you do not have sex, you don't get around any type of seminal fluid, you don't go around no vaginas, you're going to be good to go. All right. Brad Wilson said this, CEO of care.com, said in a report, a healthy economy depends upon the ability for people to save and spend. But so it's Brad Wilson. See, if Brad Wilson, who's CEO of care.com, he might be an economist, he's a CEO. But if he's a CEO and can talk about the economy then of care.com, which helps you with child care, I believe I should be able to talk about some stuff too. Yes, a healthy economy depends on the people to save and spend, but given the crushing weight of childcare costs, those pillars are crumbling. Oh, look at this little baby here. It's 2-year-old. This 2-year-old Blossom. Oh, Blossom, that's a nice name. Shout out to Powerpuff Girls. This is Blossom Walker. She's a niece's photographer. Photographer's niece. I said niece's photographer. Uh, Yep, she's taking educational activities at her home on February 21st. I mean, February 11th, 2021. This is Bradford, England. Childcare costs now can be more expensive than a year of college. Okay. What is this? Okay. All right. The consequences of rising childcare costs are prominently seen in family savings accounts. Okay, before we get into what we're talking about family savings accounts, if they get into that, can y'all? Did I move Dave to the right part of me? Nah, he's not over my shoulder enough. But we're just gonna flash no sponsorship. We're gonna flash Dave again. Um, I gotta redo my books because they fell down. So when we talk about you know family planning in the sense of planning to have your children, what is stopping people from realizing that maybe we should put ourselves in the best financial position we can, which in short might be paying off all your consumer debt, having 3 to 6 months emergency fund saved. Just maybe do that before you get into having children. If you're one of these people going to sit here and then complain about how much childcare costs and the lack of savings, again, as I've said, I've already said this before. If you want the biggest expense we all have is a human. Like when you look at your budget, okay, that's how much it costs to take care of you. For all the single people out there with no children, like you have to make that much money and you spend that much money on you. Okay, then for people go out here and get in relationships, get married, right? Whatever y'all call them now, partners, I don't know. It's all these various things out here now for relationships, situationships. But then you see how much money this other person needs to make to take care of themselves. You might be giving them some money to help them take care of themselves. And I say take care of, just spend money on yourself. Then you add another human, a smaller human, aka a child or a baby into this, and it's like, oh no, we have to spend more money. Yeah, because humans cost the most amount of money. All right. The report, which surveyed, again, y'all talk about these reports don't survey that many people. 2,000 parents. I've helped way more. I've done way more than 2,000 teletransactions. So I know I did, I know for a fact I can give my own anecdotal evidence from a professional teller standpoint. Anyways, 2,000 people surveyed discovered 35% of parents tap into savings accounts to cover childcare. See, that's a lack of budgeting because childcare, once you get pregnant, you get anywhere from 6 to 8 months, roughly speaking. I mean, depending on how people are tracking their cycle, but you're gonna get anywhere from usually 6 to 8 months, roughly speaking, to know that you're about to have a child. In that time, yes, you got to start preparing, buying stuff for the child, as far as their crib and things like that. If it's your first kid, clothes, diapers, etc., etc. Even though a lot of people know they have baby showers now, but when your child's going to need to go to daycare, as far as the youngest age they can go. So you should start preparing for these things, work them to your budget. And again, I'm gonna keep hitting on this, hot pun intended. I'm gonna keep hitting this when we're talking about it. You're having sex. Shout out to the people with college degrees who get shocked that if they don't pay or satisfy the interest when they make their student loan payment, that their balance is going to increase. Shout out to people who are having sex and getting surprised that a baby is, showing up 9 months later. All right. 68% of people said they tapped into their savings. 68% of respondents had only 6 months worth of savings before they'd run out for good. What's wrong with that? It says 35% of parents tap into savings accounts to cover childcare, and 68% of respondents had only 6 months worth of savings before they run out for good. What's wrong? They're supposed to have 6 months. I mean, if you just drain your savings, then yeah, in 6 months you'll be out if you stick at that burn rate. Need a little clarity on that one, Mr. Wilson. Wilson said that based on these numbers, it's just not parents that should be concerned. The childcare crisis should be a major red flag for everyone, not just parents. Wilson said it's a systemic failure that will impact our nation's economic growth and that affects us all.